are today. But only one team can make it into the top 8 right now, winner side between the two of them. Will it be AyoBlue and DaddyHiZo, or will it be JetBean and Clem?
Well, you're seeing some very familiar legend picks coming on the screen here. Of course, you're seeing a Brawlhalla and a Tesca. That was a possible choice for Cody and Phazon that we were theorizing about earlier on the pre-show today, but we're going to get to see it with JetBean and Clem. Meanwhile, on the other side, we, of course, have an Ulgrim and a Kaya. No surprises there, though we don't typically see too many Ulgrims in North America.
Yeah, one thing that's working really well for this red team already is I'm starting to see those team combos happening, but you're seeing DaddyHiZo really split this red team apart. He's really trying to keep them split really far, and that's what that Lance is helping him do.
He's already going wild right now. Like, this might be the DaddyHiZo that we saw. This is why they were able to take out Experience and Made. Already coming out swinging, putting out a lot of damage, but there was the nice side light. Two of them in the same direction with the recovery at the end of it.
Yeah, good defense helping keep DaddyHiZo alive. Now, over to the axe in hand. Lots of people in the red, but DaddyHiZo is going to be the first one to fall to the axe side air from Clem.
JetBean sent all the way to the left side. Oh, able to spot dodge through that one, and AyoBlue ends up stopping that, pulling out of that signature in time to not get really immediately punished too badly. Doesn't have too much damage on this stock just yet compared to JetBean and Clem, who are very much in the red. I think one more bow nair from Blue is going to take off the top.
Maybe even that side air. The side air from AyoBlue will get one of the red team members, and Clem fights his way back to the wall with the help of that side air, so we'll hold on for a little bit. There's the side air from DaddyHiZo.
AyoBlue still living in this one. Lands back to the main platform, still has a weapon in his hand. Just juggling a little bit with those grounded neutral lights. JetBean finally cleans up that KO. We have an even game in terms of stock, but AyoBlue is doing the best job here of not taking too much damage, extending his first stock much longer than everybody else. Nice pickup there, grabbing both of them after a little bit of team damage.
Yeah, great pickup there off of that down air from JetBean that led into a solid amount of damage off that down light from AyoBlue.
Neutral six coming out. Even if that did hit, not sure if that was going to be the KO move because that does send up at a 45-degree angle. That's going to be an easy punish for JetBean, but it was just the side light. They weren't able to capitalize too much on that.
Interesting punish there. Clem was like right in the middle of both blue team members, and I think they were both cautious of putting out damage onto each other, so they both did kind of a safe option of jump nairs, which ended up working really well for them.
DaddyHiZo playing pretty carefully on the right side, choosing when and when not to actually go in, bouncing off the wall with that Lance recovery. He wants that KO onto Clem to put the second member of the red team on final stocks. JetBean gets the KO off the top. Clem over on the edge. AyoBlue does not focus too much on Clem because he knows that JetBean was right on his tail.
Yeah, rather focus on JetBean with those neutral lights. Knows that Clem could fall at any moment, just needs to find that one hit. And yeah, that side air at the top of the map was enough to finish off the stock. And now JetBean avoiding that 1v2. You saw, again, the blue team not really collapsing for those team combos.
But they did start this one off with a nice lead and continued that lead through as JetBean is getting much closer into the red, while again, AyoBlue still on second stock. Signatures coming out, none of them are punishable just yet by the red team. Again, another neutral signature comes out. JetBean unable to punish it with the recovery. He was just a little bit too far to the right.
Yeah, that's tough. AyoBlue keeps throwing out these N-Sigs, and you know JetBean wants to find those punishes, or maybe even have Clem rotate over and get that punish, but there's another N-Sig coming out from AyoBlue.
Nice pickup there. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of team damage. That's going to put JetBean closer and closer, deeper into the red. So there are more moves in the toolkit that Blue and DaddyHiZo can both hit to actually find that KO. The unarmed recovery being one of them. Clem in the 1v2. Blue very healthy here. Clem only in the orange, so it's definitely not unwinnable, but it's going to be very tough. Weapon spawn coming in. DaddyHiZo making his way safely over. AyoBlue's just going to grab that from him again. DaddyHiZo looking for his way in, but he's being very careful. He knows he's the most damage between him and his teammate.
Yeah, they recognize the value of having that second player alive. So AyoBlue going to put that front position and do the downlight side air to clean up game number one. No character swaps. We're seeing them get ready to go right on into the next one. Very interesting, again, like when you have these kind of unknowns, there's this level of like you and I, Sparky, are sitting here trying to figure out what exactly it is that did so well for them in their earlier sets. And apparently DaddyHiZo and AyoBlue have some pretty solid 1v1 skills.
Well, if this game so far is any indicator of what they did previously, we're looking at huge damage coming out from AyoBlue. 740 damage from this Kaya. Let's look at the split between those two. It was mostly off of the spear, putting out 485, so definitely the majority of the damage is on that spear with 174 on the bow. Not too shabby on that weapon as well, so it shows he has a strong mastery of this legend, specifically the signature kit that's unique to Kaya, but also both weapons that he can maybe move on to if the Kaya is not working. But right now, it's been working fantastic. Doesn't even need to think about switching legends just yet whatsoever.
On the other side, Red Team really wants to take out DaddyHiZo. They're focusing him down. DaddyHiZo, I don't think he's touched a weapon for the first 30 seconds of this game, and he is already dipping into the red because the Red Team wants him out of there.
Nice spacing to get away from that signature that JetBean just threw out. DaddyHiZo coming in with the lance, swapping back over to the axe, now swapping back over to the lance. That's what we saw him really open up last game with, finding a stock here as well. That is going to be the first stock going to DaddyHiZo, but the second stock, they're going to trade 1-for-1. JetBean's going to pick that one up. The dodge is gone, charging up that recovery just a little bit early, making sure he didn't wait all the way towards the end, but he's going to end up being taken off the top by the Blaster's recovery.
Yeah, good coverage coming out from the Red Team. JetBean was putting the pressure out, but Clem's the one who snuck up there, got that recovery onto DaddyHiZo. Red Team, they want to stay close to each other. They want to be able to collapse onto a player.
Juggle game coming out from JetBean. Actually gets hit by the lance recovery. DaddyHiZo completely changing his target over to Clem. No major attempt to take Clem off the top. He was chasing really high. Maybe was searching for that gimp off the top. Not going to be anybody really able to be taken out by that just yet. JetBean is now the one doing what AyoBlue did last game, and he's the one surviving on first stock.
Putting out a lot of pressure onto DaddyHiZo as well. He was putting out those boots into his face, but they finally take down JetBean, and on the right side, Clem has to avoid the 1v2. He's sweat beating, but he still finds his footing.
Blue still living after getting hit by the gauntlet recovery from JetBean. Ooh, Clem was making his way over to that weapon. Couldn't quite grab it in time, but he does grab the one off the soft platform. He is extremely damaged, so if he gets taken out here, the next weapon he picks up on the spawn will be the axe. That's going to be the one he's searching for when he comes back in. JetBean is going to grab one of the weapon spawns on the field, see if another one comes in shortly or whether Clem is going to be unarmed for a while.
Unfortunately for JetBean, he hit that gauntlet side signature, didn't lead to a KO, just wasn't enough damage on DaddyHiZo. So this one actually kind of even until that side sig connects.
Nice hit there from JetBean. Ooh, not able to continue with the follow-up off of Clem's down air from the blasters, but still that was a nice hit. Let's see if JetBean can continue the survivability here. Gets hit by that side air, but not anywhere near the blast zone. Was in the middle of the stage. Oh, goes for the follow-up there, and DaddyHiZo behind him with the axe side air. They get the stock on that, and we are even in terms of stocks. Red Team is just a little bit in the lead.
Clem manages to avoid that 1v2 though, while JetBean was respawning, and the side sig's gonna KO. It's all left to DaddyHiZo in the 1v2.
That KO'd an orange, by the way. That was something they were not able to do whatsoever to AyoBlue last game, and now they're picking up SIGs right on the edge with good KO efficiency.
Unfortunate there. You saw the neutral light from Clem connect, and now DaddyHiZo sees the writing on the wall, sees the potential if he can take out Clem.
I don't think he's going to be able to take too much more punishment. Definitely if he gets hit with a KO move, he's probably done for. Nice neutral light. That was all the way on the left third of the stage. The GC side light. Don't know how he's going to be able to make it back here.
He's living.
Has basically blown everything. That's going to be an easily punishable landing, but okay, it was a little bit of a delay on that punish. They end up getting the KO off the top. Red Team is going to tie up the set.
And now you're seeing like a huge swap in the damage numbers put out from AyoBlue. Game number 1, he was putting up like 700. Game number 2, in the 200s. It was a struggle for AyoBlue to get that damage out.
And that was off them bullying him out of the game very early, but they also put a lot of pressure onto DaddyHiZo as well. It seemed like that might have been the focus that they were looking for, but no, they kind of stepped back from that after they got that opportunity in the beginning. JetBean this time putting the big numbies out, 663 damage for his team, and of course Clem coming in with the 434. Nothing that you could admonish Clem for with those numbers. It's just we're really looking at the 663 and like that's a big plus.
Yeah, 400, you're like, you're doing your part. You're putting out some damage, and you're definitely playing the game alongside your teammate. He's got the axe in hand right now, and you can see them maybe focusing AyoBlue a little bit. JetBean wasn't sure, did he want to try to box out DaddyHiZo, or did he want to turn onto AyoBlue, maybe throw out some nairs?
Hizo putting a little bit of team damage. If they can trade 1-for-1, or, I mean, even get the stock and not lose blues, then that's a really good spot for them to be in. DaddyHiZo KO with the 3-piece, ending with the side air after the neutral air for that KO option. That is solid KO efficiency. That's great string usage as well.
Yeah, and a great read on top of that. Knew Jetbean was going to get that dodge down and was like, all right, time to hit you with that side air. And the red team not able to trade it back. Despite the fact that AyoBlue's deep red, they're still not able to finish the stock off.
Recovery didn't quite KO off the top. That is a burn dodge. Of course, DaddyHiZo didn't have a weapon in his hand, so he wasn't able to capitalize. Not a big deal. They did finally get that fire stock. Okay, and they get the second stock, or the first stock off of DaddyHiZo, so that is a full wipe of this blue team. Clem doing a great job. Oh, nice punish.
And Jetbean not able to follow after that Blaster's recovery. I thought he was going to try to go for that handoff for like the double recovery instant KO, but instead it looked like he was a little nervous about DaddyHiZo, but DaddyHiZo ended up hitting that recovery onto Clem. Now stock count's even, but I'm looking at Jet being deep red.
He took so much damage very quickly. You see him moving in and out of the fight. He's putting out a lot of damage, hasn't really taken a hit in the past 15 to 20 seconds. He did get bonked on the head by that weapon toss, but that's not going to do too much.
Yeah, these little taps, they're not KO moves, and DaddyHiZo not hitting that side air means Jetbean can still kind of sit in the middle of this fray, but suddenly red team forced to this right side, and AyoBlue picks up the downlight side air.
A lot of damage was added up in the process. Gets that signature KO from the middle. He needed that signature to KO. That was big. The red team just a little bit behind due to the fact that DaddyHiZo is only in the orange on this second stock. Nice pickup, going to put a little bit of team damage out. If it doesn't lead to an immediate KO, though, it doesn't really matter because Clem already is in KO damage. Oh! The pickup, they actually switch to put some damage onto his teammate, and then Blue comes in for the punish to get the KO. That's big.
Yeah, the worst part of that wasn't the team damage. It was the fact that he put his teammate in hit stun and he didn't get the KO onto DaddyHiZo, so Jetbean couldn't even help protect against AyoBlue. Now, DaddyHiZo holding down the stock advantage, but it's going to be the side air to clean it up.
2v1 for just a moment as DaddyHiZo spawns back in this game. They weren't able to do hardly anything. The organization was just not quite there. And Blue was actually coming out on the top of that by putting out the most damage while DaddyHiZo was respawning into the game.
Now DaddyHiZo holding both right team members to that outside wall. He's got the least damage on him, so he's going to play that front spot as AyoBlue sitting in the back, throwing out a couple downlights, just trying to poke in whenever the red team gets too close.
Jetbean completely zoned away from his teammate. Clem looking to focus on AyoBlue all the way on the right side. Jetbean actually moving over to the soft platform. Ziggs coming out there trying to find a KO. They want to force this 2v1 onto DaddyHiZo, and they're going to get it.
Yeah, that side sig, we've seen it KO pretty quickly, and it'll KO again for Jetbean. There's the neutral light down air. Doesn't get a KO. It's just another neutral light.
Nice little weapon swap out there. It almost seemed like they got their wires crossed and one player was going to end up without a weapon, but because it was an upward weapon toss, the person who originally threw their weapon were able to pick that one right back up and still have total weapon control for the entire team.
Oh, the recoveries. They are doing a great job of denying weapons, but DaddyHiZo is still swinging. He's throwing out these side airs. He's throwing out these recoveries. Another downlight might be trouble for DaddyHiZo. He's going to throw away the X because he wants some lower recovery moves, and that's going to be the downlight from Clem to take game number 3.
And the ending of that game is why having those prepared 2v1 combos is such an important aspect of 2v2, because the way that one started, it was extremely winnable for DaddyHiZo, but then all of a sudden you can see in this last clip, the one before that, he was orange, but they were able to take him into the red, pretty much almost to KO damage, unless you're throwing out like 2 axe downlights like they did. But the fact that they were able to do that relatively quote-unquote easily without too much of a risk because of that prepared 2v1 combo, that's huge. That turns a really winnable 1v2 into something that is almost impossible.
And now we're into game number 4. AyoBlue again relegated to 200-ish damage. He's going to need to step it up. We saw what happens when he puts out 700, but what happens if he can't get those big numbers?
They're really going to opt for the completely split 1v1 here. Clem focusing on Blue on the right side. Jetbean focusing on DaddyHiZo over on the left. Everybody was able to grab a weapon very early into this game. No major swings of damage now that we're about 30 seconds into this one. Attempting to get the carry all the way to the blast zone. not able to do that nearly as easily as you were upon Boot's immediate release. So that's why we really haven't seen anybody going for that as much anymore. They'll go for like the two-piece and then back onto the main stage.
No, but the side air from DaddyHiZo does give the blue team the stock advantage. Another side air. This is what happens. Another side air. He's showing how to force someone out to those outside KO boxes with a tool that can fly.
Huge opening for this blue team. They need it here if they want to force the game 5 because they're already down 1-2 after 2 major victories from JetBean and Clem.
Going into the top side of top 8 for either team would be amazing as JetBean gets the handoff, gets the side sig, and keeps the stock count even. Those gauntlet side sigs from JetBean have been so crucial.
They've been a solid equalizer right there, grabbing multiple KOs, multiple stocks throughout this entire set. With it, he's grabbed them in orange. Of course, he grabbed it as a follow-up off of his teammate who sent the opponent into it. So a great job of bringing back this game. It was a small lead, but they were able to equalize it almost immediately without taking too much damage. And now we essentially have a completely even game.
Oh, and the red team of JetBean and Clem starting to find more follow-ups. You're seeing the damage add up a little bit quicker as DaddyHiZo's down to his final stock. Oh,
didn't quite have enough damage on that to get a extended bounce that they needed. Clem was just a little bit too high to pick up that recovery, but again, even though they kind of flubbed that towards the end, they were able to find the stock immediately after. It's been a couple times now that they've done that, which you want to give them knocks for not actually confirming the KO, but the fact that they're able to kind of wash that away and still find the cleanup afterward, that is something that you want to give them credit for as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they still got the KO, didn't take any damage for that tiny flub, as they're adding more onto AyoBlue.
And that combo that they just hit, it started on Blue. Blue fell out of it. Clem was able to pick up DaddyHiZo, and then JetBean found the follow-up off of that. So they just kind of passed the members of the blue team around, did a good bit of damage to both of them very quickly.
Oh, but the blue team, they're fighting back. They want this stock off of Clem. He's deep red. Nair's not a KO tool. They're not finding the hits onto Clem, and AyoBlue maybe trying to box JetBean a little bit, hoping he can force that 1v2 as a side air from DaddyHiZo does even up the stock count.
Now we're seeing Blue throw out those signatures, looking for these KOs on these high damage opponents, but he was doing that before. Now we're seeing some more punishment come out. Even when Blue has found connections with him, we also see punishment from the other member of the red team that isn't hit. Blue's taken out. It is a 1v1. DaddyHiZo versus Clem. Clem in the yellow, DaddyHiZo at the ending stages of orange. Goes for the D-Light side air. Is he going to try to pick up the D-Light recovery? Yes, he does. He wasn't throwing out any side airs in the air. He wasn't wasting any moves. He was just waiting for the landing so he could punish it with the D-Light recovery.
Clem and JetBean able to clean it up. Some fantastic plays. Again, a great clutch from Clem as he hit just the side air that he needed and then was able to play some clean 1v1 against DaddyHiZo. And that means they are moving higher and further into the bracket.
Just a very clean game from the red team, able to take that one with a 3-1. Looking at some of the numbers here for the end of the game. You're seeing JetBean and Clem coming out with 1045 total team damage. They're about themselves, about 130 difference between them. Solid numbers across the board. We're seeing most of the damage coming out from the boots on JetBean, but not too far behind it is, of course, the gauntlets. Then for Clem coming out, it was mostly a blasters game.
I'm looking at that second stock of Clem where he lasted for a really long time, where he took no damage for a really long time. Look at how flat this area is, and you can see Clem, he was forcing it, and he was taking these stocks off the opponents.
He spent basically 60 to 70% of the game on that second stock, a true second stock Samuel here. Meanwhile, you look at the opposite.